Gelman from Play NJ here for this third episode of Atlantic City Boardwalk Talk.
And I'm David Danzis, lead writer with Play NJ. And we are here at Ocean Casino Resort this week. Bill, it's been a long, strange journey to get to where we are now. And I guess we can kind of refer to it as back to normal. 100% capacity in the casinos, no masks if you're vaccinated. But it wasn't an easy journey to get here, right? There was a lot of steps that had to be done in order for us to get to this point. What's your sense walking in the casino today?
Honestly, I feel like there was never a virus. I feel like it was like before the pandemic, but it's a big difference. I was also down here last summer where it was a completely different situation. I know a lot of time and energy was put into that. With all the regulations with the DGE, and I know it just didn't get to this stage right away. This has been a work in progress since last spring.
Yeah, it's easy to take for granted walking into the casino now and being able to sit down and not having plexiglass next to you, or going to a slot bank and every other machine being turned off. But the casinos did everything right to lead up to this point. You know, they partnered with the local healthcare provider to make sure that there were protocols in place to not just protect the guests, but also protect their employees, right? I mean, we can't ever forget that there are tens of thousands of people that are employed by these properties who have to be here 8, 10, 12 hours a day.
Right.
And their safety and health was paramount as well. So the casinos did everything right to get to this point. But coming out of it, we got to see some changes at some of the properties too, right? Some of these casinos adapted to that normalcy, or the new normal, if you will. And here at Ocean, they've done a lot of cool things on the casino floor, and you got to see some of those this morning for the first time.
Yeah, it was nice to see. There's a nice blue strip of carpet now.
Nice walkway.
Walkway.
Yep.
That's the word I was looking for. Walkway, where you pretty much guide you around the casino floor. Whereas going back when the place first reopened, I didn't know which way I was going. And they didn't even have an elevator going from the lobby to the casino floor. So it's just really great to see all the work that they've done here. There's definitely more work going on. And there's also some new amenities here at Ocean that we've heard about.
There are. And, some of those happened before we got back to this stage now, right? They opened up a new high-limit slot room called the Cove. They opened up a new high rollers lounge upstairs called the Loft. We know there's a couple other things that are coming, including 2 new players' lounges. But there's also, new slot machines on the floor themselves. So Ocean has really listened to sort of the critiques and the criticisms of what this property was when it used to be Revel, and even when it reopened again in 2018. And they've made a concerted effort to make those changes here, and it's paying off and it's showing. So with that being said, we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we definitely thank Ocean for being gracious host to us. But we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in New Jersey as far as gambling is concerned. And one of those things directly affects all of the casinos, and there's a handful of bills in the state legislature.
Right. Which you wrote about for Play NJ.
Yep.
And so how's that going to help the Atlantic City casinos turn it around? Because you're talking about they were closed for over 100 plus days. So how will these bills help them turn around? Because it's not going to be like, oh, we're open full capacity, everything's back
Right.
to normal financially.
No, the lawmakers in Trenton, they understand and they respect the fact that the last 15 months have been unlike anything this industry has ever seen in 43 years. So they introduced a couple of bills to provide some financial relief to the casinos that they arguably are in desperate need of, but also just seems to really balance out what happened when they were closed for almost 108 days. We saw profits decline by almost 80% in 2020. So one of those bills is going to provide some temporary tax relief to the casinos in terms of their gross gaming revenue, but also in terms of promotional gaming credits. That bill also permanently redefines what a promotional gaming credit is. So match play coupons and free play at table games are now going to be part of that as well. And, to the average person, that might not seem like a whole lot, or they might not even understand what that means. But in the bigger scheme of things, that is a significant financial relief for the casino operators. The other one that is probably more pertinent to our audience is there is a resolution moving its way through the state legislature that will correct a wrong, if you will, or sort of right an oversight in the sports betting law. When New Jersey enacted sports betting in 2018, rather than have a long, drawn-out fight about the details of sports betting, they basically said, you know what, for the time being, we're not going to allow any sports betting on college teams in New Jersey or any college events that take place in New Jersey. That's likely going to change. I don't want to say what the voters of New Jersey are or aren't going to do, but I don't think there's going to be much opposition to allowing betting on Rutgers or Seton Hall basketball games. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think in terms of for sportsbook operators, bigger picture, I don't know how much not being able to bet on Rutgers and Seton Hall basketball games in like an NCAA tournament type situation is really going to take a hit nationally. But I think the big thing is you have the NCAA regional coming up to Newark in 2025. Correct. And if you can't bet on any of those games, that's going to be a big problem for the sportsbook operators. And I think it's more so for the events taking place in New Jersey is the bigger issue than talking about a couple of teams that are betting on. I mean, Rutgers probably would have gotten a lot of action in this past NCAA tournament because Rutgers is on the rise. They're finally in the mix again. They're in the they're in the tournament, which is when was the last time we said that?
1978. But it's not just the large tournament, right? I mean, even here in Atlantic City, last year before it got canceled, and then this year they actually did do it, is the MAC tournament right down the boardwalk at historic Boardwalk Hall. The MAC only has 3 teams from New Jersey in that conference, but even if those teams hadn't been playing in the tournament, you couldn't have bet on any of those games, yet you're 200 feet away from a sports book in either direction.
Right.
It was a real head scratcher, especially if you were from out of state and you were coming down here and you wanted to place bets, you couldn't.
Yeah, I think it was just more of one of those situations where in order to get sports betting legislation across the finish line, that was one of the areas they had to cave in. But now it's a few years later almost, and I think they're realizing it's time to add that element back into sports betting.
Speaking of sports betting, we're going to end on this one. NBA playoffs are still going on. 2 of the 3 regional teams are still involved. Unfortunately, my New York Knickerbockers did not show up in the first round. They decided to take those 5 games off. 76ers are still in it, and the Brooklyn Nets are still in it, both of which are heavy betting favorites at this point. I know you've been watching the Sixers games. I try to watch as much NBA basketball as I can, so I've been watching all of them. What are your thoughts on the Sixers' chances, and would you put your money on the Sixers to get out of the Eastern Conference right now?
Honestly, I have to give you credit. Last week when we sat down to talk, you said the Hawks are going to be a tough challenge. They're no walkover team.
Yep.
And the Sixers handled them pretty well during the regular season, except for one game. And that first game, I'm like, where's my team? And I think the Sixers are a good team. I just don't know, after watching the Brooklyn Nets play the Milwaukee Bucks without James Harden, I don't know if anyone's getting past the Brooklyn Nets if they play as well as they played in Game 2. Because the Bucks just look like a lost team.
Yep.
I don't think they can match up. And, the Nets you can't really judge yet because the big 3 haven't played.
We haven't seen them at full strength. But the Nets are still the betting favorites at most sports books here in New Jersey. It's hard to bet against them right now. Yes. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, and I can't bet on the Sixers because the sheer reason is I'm a homer. So it's like I
never
can't
bet with your heart, Bill. Yes. Always bet with your head.
So I just stay on the sidelines.
All right. So last thing, we're going to use that head a little bit. Revenue numbers are coming out for the month of May. Kind of that first month back to normal. Not 100% everything back to normal, but I suspect we're going to see a significant uptick in brick and mortar gambling revenue. Right. Sports betting, we're probably going to see a little bit of a pull back.
Yeah, I think around under 750 million probably because you didn't have.
I think you're being optimistic, but I think we're going to see more around 680.
Yeah, I would say lower. So I was saying lower than 750, but it's just like I don't give an exact number because every time I guess,
we're wrong. Yeah,
I'm always off.
Yeah, don't take these projections to the bank, folks. But the one that you always keep an eye on is the online gaming, And we've had 3 of the last 4 months we've eclipsed $100 million
Yes.
for the month. Are we going to make it 5 of the last 6?
I think so. I don't know. I thought last month
Or
we were
4
going
of
to
the
hit.
last 5, excuse me.
Yeah, I thought last month there was a chance we were going to hit 120 million. Part of me feels the 113 million and change from 2 months ago. I almost feel like that's the new benchmark. I don't know if we're going to get over that because I think people want to get out more. I don't know, casinos are operating at full capacity. With that being said, it's probably going to be over 115 million.
All right, I'm going to say that we're going to be just under 100 million. I think the fact that the weather's been nice and people have been getting outside and they've been wanting to travel a little more. I know I'm in Atlantic City a lot more than you are. I've seen the crowds here on the boardwalk, especially on the weekends. People are here. They weren't waiting. They're already here. So I think we're going to see a little bit of a dip in online gaming revenue. Not much, but I think we're going to just fall short of that $100 million mark in May.
Right, which is odd that we're talking this high because I remember the beginning of last year, it was like 50 million a month was a big deal.
Sure.
So, 90 million sounds like a low number, but you compare it to what it was in early 2020, it's like double, almost double.
All right, guys, stay with us. We've got a great episode for you. We've got Terry Glebocki, the CEO of Ocean Casino Resort, joining us. She's going to talk a little bit about that return to normalcy, some live entertainment, and all of the new offerings here at Ocean Casino. And we also have Warren Richards, the Senior Vice President of Food and Beverage here at Ocean, and he's going to tell you about all of the great dining experiences and drinking options that are going to be taking place here at the casino. So stay tuned, guys. So joining us now is Ocean Casino Resort CEO, Terry Glebocki. Terry, thanks so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
So Terry, we're going to jump right into it. Ocean's been operating at full capacity for a couple of weeks now. What has been the feedback from both guests and employees?
It's all very positive. It's a return to normalcy. The social distancing requirements are gone. The mask mandate has been dropped. We're operating on just about all cylinders right now, so it's been great.
And a lot of things there's going to be people coming to the property who haven't seen some of the new investments that have taken place here at the property. Can you talk to me a little bit about what's been happening here at Ocean, not just with the opening of some of the high limit rooms, but also configuration on the casino floor and all of these other great changes here at the property?
Sure, happy to review that with you. So we started in December of last year. As soon as we got through the summer season, we knew that things were going in a good direction here at Ocean. So we started out by opening the Cove. The Cove is our high limit slot area. It's something that was really missing at the property. We had a high limit slot area. It was substandard. This new one is, I believe it's spectacular. So we started there. We then went to the Loft. The Loft is on the 44th floor. It's a private, exclusive gaming area, table gaming area for very select customers, and it's on appointment only. But it's just a great amenity that we're offering to our high-end table players. Then we really wanted to enhance the gaming experience for everyone. So pathway carpeting is something that we've been interested in doing for quite a while. It's something that was needed at this property. Our casino floor is large and people found it somewhat confusing. These new pathways make it very obvious which way you should be going, and it helps you navigate the property with ease. We're opening up 2 new VIP lounges. One has already opened. It's Luna's. It caters to our chairman level guests. It's a VIP experience with views of the ocean. I think it's unparalleled in this market. We're also going to be opening up another VIP lounge located on the same level as Ovation Hall. That'll be open in advance of our first showing in Ovation Hall, which is on July 2nd. We're adding a new high limit table area right off of the casino floor. That will be spectacular. We'll also have ocean views, and we're enhancing our Asian gaming area. So we've taken $15 million and we're investing it in the gaming experience right here on Ocean's casino floor.
So I hate to go back and revisit old wounds, but last year Ocean was closed along with all the other Atlantic City casinos for just under 4 months. But during that time, you had a chance to really step back and take an inventory of the property. What did your team learn during that time, and how are you addressing that?
So we learned so much. COVID gave us many opportunities to learn things that we may have never learned otherwise. But as we looked at this property and we started to figure out how can we operate when we are allowed to reopen, we came to learn that our guests really, really enjoy being outdoors. We have some spectacular outdoor areas here at Ocean. One of the areas was formerly called Sky Garden. It's now called the Park at Ocean. It's located on our lobby level. We've taken out all of the indigenous plantings and grasses that were up there, and we've put in sod. So we'll have some portable bars, and we'll have some picnic tables, a place where people can really go outside and enjoy the fresh air while in the resort and yet being outside. So that was one learning. Another is that people want to be able to not be too close to the person next to them, even post-COVID. So as we're reconfiguring our casino floor, we've taken that into account. Our slot machines will be spaced apart more than they have been in the past. Our table games have more space in between them. It's a much better experience with more space and room to roam. I think those are probably the biggest takeaways. Oh, and I should add cleanliness. Certainly, cleanliness is something that even though the mask mandate is gone, cleanliness will not be forgotten. We learned how to clean in a brand new way here at Ocean, and we will keep that up. There will continue to be hand sanitizers, there's hand wipes, we're wiping down surfaces. The clean team is in full action right here.
So whatever it is that Ocean did after the reopening last July is clearly paying off. Ocean is one of the better performing casinos here in the Atlantic City market. Can you tell me a little bit about how that happened and what the focus has been over the last 18 months or so?
Well, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. We have been very pleased with how Ocean's been performing. And if you look back over the past 18 months, none of this was an accident. It was a lot of hard work to get to where we are, and a lot of work that will continue into the future. I think one of the problems that Ocean had was a lack of identity when it first reopened. And we needed to get people comfortable coming here. And so there was a lot of marketing emphasis that was put on the property. You need to come here maybe once isn't enough, maybe 2-3 times to really start to learn your way around. The new pathways that we're putting on the casino floor also helped that a lot. The overhead signage that was deployed to help people navigate their way through the property. Once people started coming here, they start to realize that there's a lot here that they like. Our offers are extremely compelling. Our product, I think, is unparalleled. Our rooms are spectacular. We have floor-to-ceiling windows. The first thing that you see when you open that door is the Atlantic Ocean, and that's really hard to beat. And we've been able to build on that success. We've got a lot of fans here at Ocean, people that have been telling other people that this is the place that they should consider coming. And now with these new gaming amenities and catering to our VIP players, we're very confident, or at least hopeful for good things in the future.
The floor is yours. If there's any other point that you wanted to talk about, that you guys identified, something that you really wanted to highlight or just talk about, the floor is yours. So just look up there and whenever you're ready.
One thing that I think we shouldn't ignore is we are located at the Jersey Shore. We're located in Atlantic City. Our beach has been replenished. The Atlantic City beach is spectacular. It's a free beach. It's right outside our doors. I think it's something that people are really going to enjoy this summer. Something that we couldn't offer last summer. Even though we were open, the beach had eroded. The beach has been replenished, so that's an exciting amenity. Our beach club is also reopened. Our beach club is one of a kind. It's a nightlife experience during the day, outdoors, in a pool. That's open on Fridays and Saturdays all summer. We're really excited about that as well. And finally, I think it's going to be a great summer here in Atlantic City. We look forward to seeing everyone then.
So we are joined now by Warren Richards, Senior Vice President of Food and Beverage here at Ocean Casino Resort. Warren, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your background and your role here at Ocean Casino.
Absolutely. So I'm actually recently arrived here at Ocean Casino Resort in November of last year. Couldn't be happier to have this challenge as Senior Vice President of Food and Beverage. My last 10 years were spent between Las Vegas and Boston, actually. I spent 7 years in Las Vegas, and 3 years ago I went out to Boston to open Encore Boston Harbor with Wynn Resorts. Prior to that, my time in Vegas was split between Wolfgang Puck Fine Dining Group and a fantastic 5 years with Wynn and Encore in Vegas. Prior to that, I was actually a California native. I spent not only my college years, but also many fun years after in boutique hotels in California, and born and raised in London.
So even with all of that experience in the hospitality industry, nothing could have prepared you for what happened over the last 15 months. And hospitality was one of the hardest hit industries.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about what you learned during the industry during that time and how it's going to help you going forward.
I think the hospitality industry came through with flying colors. I saw a resilience in all operations, from restaurants to bars to nightclubs to casinos, which was something that we can all be very proud of. It was so unexpected and so abrupt, but I think the adjustments that were made, and for many to operate successfully during what was a very challenging 15 months, I think was, again, something that we can all be very proud of. We learned how to adjust. We learned maybe things that we had been doing wrong for a long time that we're now better for. I think cleaning standards and the adoption of mobile ordering technologies and just being more conscious of the guest experience, I think, were things we were forced into. And many of those will be adjustments that we keep forever.
And it's got to feel good to get back to a little bit of normalcy in these past few weeks, correct?
100%. It's, I'm not a fan of the term the new normal. I think we went through a period of getting back to the way things used to be. And I think that we've really felt in the last 2 weeks especially. The moment that Memorial Day weekend hit, we felt a change in energy and excitement in the building that was contagious. It was the thing which we all loved from before, and I felt it back here at the resort, and it was a fantastic Memorial Day, and ever since that energy and enthusiasm has remained.
Now, food and beverage is a very critical component to the overall casino experience. What are your big picture goals here for the dining experience at Ocean, and how can that be accomplished?
It's accomplished with a lot of hard work, but Ocean Casino Resort has had a compelling restaurant, nightlife, lounge, bar lineup since it was first conceived. And I think part of what I find exciting about my position is you evolve with time, you evolve with changing tastes and preferences of our customers and guests. And I think that my experiences from other parts of the country allow me to have a unique insight into perhaps things that are happening elsewhere that are coming here to Atlantic City. And I think those things are things that I'll be looking to fold into our program here, and I hope to take the lead on some of those things. We'll be looking at our menus, we'll be looking at our service style, we'll be looking at all of the components that make a great experience. We're going to deconstruct things that are working well right now and build them back up and try and make them a little bit better. But we have a lot of things that we're doing well, but I always think there's room for improvement, and that's why I was brought here, is to just continue to push that agenda of making Ocean Casino Resort the best destination possible for dining, entertainment, nightlife, day life, bars, lounges. It's all here. Our pools are open for the season, and we couldn't be happier with how that launch has gone. And I'm going to work tirelessly to make sure that this is a great place to come.
Warren, thanks so much for your time today. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.